Welcome back to the channel and the second installment in the Subaru swap series. We are finally getting the harness shortened, but will it work? Stay tuned to find out. Try to get an idea of where the main harness plugs come out in relation to where I want to put the ECM inside of the bus so that I could get a general idea of how long I need to make the harness for accurate measuring technique here. So I'm gonna take this as being the center point of the engine, as the engine is gonna mount centered. So from the center of the engine to about where the harness would come out is, looks like about 25 inches. The center of this engine is somewhere around here. So 25 inches in this direction. Mathematical. Clean that up.
No.
By my calculations, if I left it about this long, I'd have enough play. This grommet would be somewhere around over here. Rewrap all this with fireproof shit. And then now I just gotta organize this to fit in the wheel well with the fuse box in a nice and neat way. So what I've done at this point is cut off the main relay and the fuel pump relay so that I could solder it in closer to the fuse box. I've also gone along and organized some of the wires here so it's not so crazy. And we're gonna do some soldering, and now is when the harness should start getting nice and neat. Engine loom, main harness, relays, and a huge mess. And a sleepy, oh, a little sleepy Kiba. If you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification because we are releasing new videos every Wednesday and Sunday and you don't want to miss it. Now back to the video. So after many hours of work, the official version 2 of the shortened harness is done. That's the engine connectors, that's all stayed the same. This bundle right here is what I'm gonna connect to the interface board if I end up getting one. That's to kill any engine codes. These are for the radiator fans, AC switch, AC fan. We've got the OBD2 sensor and the test ports separated. Main relay, fuel relay. These are the ones that would run up to the dash. Temperature gauge, oil pressure, RPM, and I think the check engine light. And then these are either ignition power sources, ground, or direct battery sources. To go over that again, we've got the power sources over there, fuel relay, main relay, engine connectors, interface board connectors, OBD2, AC, radiator fans, and the stuff that goes to the dash. And once my fuse box gets here tomorrow, we'll find out if it works. So the forecast calls for nothing but rain. We're gonna have to push the Scooby in. Please open the door. So Mallory is gonna have to attempt to steer that somehow. So I was dumb enough to leave the windows down when I disconnected the entire harness. So everything's getting wet inside. Yeah, so you're gonna have to lift up. Just like a rocket ship. There you go. Can you steer that?
No.
Make sure the key is turned to the on position. I think that makes a difference. Can you turn to the right? There you go. A little bit more. Keep going. that might be good enough. Let's try not to crash, okay? You got this? Oh, and make sure to take off the e-brake and leave it in neutral. All right. So it wasn't easy, but we did it. We got it in here. Ain't that right, honey?
We did.
So my fuse box has arrived. Fuses, kitty, electrical connectors of all different gauges, main connectors and all that good stuff. And we're just about ready to get this all figured out so we could try to start the bus. I mean, the Subaru. Here's the current setup. Actually got an ignition switch this time. Battery's currently unplugged. Got a fuse box. Thank God you're home, I need your phone. Got my OBD2 reader. Everything should be plugged in. We're gonna use Mallory's phone to connect to the OBD2, and we're gonna try to crank her up. So I've got the car scanner app pulled up. Lights on, that's direct to battery. We're gonna turn the ignition switch. Okay. Sounds like things are happening. All right, we're now connected. I'm gonna put the phone up on the stand and we're gonna try to start it. Hopefully the fuel pump situation works. All right, I've got the fuel pump directly connected to ignition on instead of going through the relay because I gotta figure that out. I'm not sure what's going on. So we've got some codes here, many that I was expecting, but one that I thought was weird was, oh, no, I don't know anymore. I think it was starter switch circuit low input. I'm gonna try wiring this starter switch input directly to when the starter switch goes off. All right, the codes are cleared. We've connected that to the starter switch, and let's try this again. The idle is a little high, but I don't think that's a big deal. Sounds like it's firing fine right now. That smoke, I believe, is just from coolant that dropped on the back of the engine. So when I remove the heater core, so when it gets hot, it just kind of sounds like that. I don't have the radiator fans connected, so I'm not gonna let it get too hot. You see it's heating up, but it seems to be running fine. Super cool setup. So I'm gonna check the codes again. Turns out the problem was indeed not having that starter switch connected to the starter switch, as that's what triggers the fuel pump relay to turn on. It'll give you 0 volts if it's in the on position, which makes sense. You don't need fuel if it's just ignition on. And then right when you start it, kicks on the fuel pump and it manages it from there. Well, it's time to disconnect everything, let the engine cool down, and take it out of the vehicle. So I should have everything I need here to get this engine ready to be dropped. Then I'll bring the cherry picker from the barn and we'll have this engine out before nightfall. At least that's the plan. So I believe I've got mostly everything disconnected that I need to. I'm gonna go get the engine hoist from the barn and pull this sucker out. So she's finally out, but I didn't plan appropriately, and the bolt that I put through the chain loop to hold it all almost slipped out, and there wasn't much I could do once it was coming out, except pray and hope that that didn't slip through. Now, can it slip through? Maybe. I don't know. It didn't. Don't make that mistake. Let's try to get her on the engine stand. She's on the stand, and I've got to say, a word of advice, always attach the stand to the engine before putting it on the stand. I've made that mistake before. It might just be because I'm a really bad mechanic. But let's get this car out of here and clean up the garage. I think we're done for the day. Now, is that a beautiful sight or what? I think the bus is gonna like this. If you like that video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, as we are working on the bus simultaneously as working on the Subaru swap. We're gonna be working on some Funker green panels. I'm excited, I hope you're excited, and I'll see you in the next episode. Subscribe. Now you already know the deal. If you're interested in getting one of these custom bus wood burnings, hit us an email at vangabonders@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.